Okay, so part one, I showed you how to get the Ubuntu and Fedora uh, images, and I also showed you how to create a virtual machine. I do need to add that Fedora is at fedoraproject.org, and Ubuntu is at ubuntu.com. So in this video, I'm going to show you the installation for Fedora. So I've already booted it up, and it is at the Welcome to Fedora 40. So you're going to choose your language, and then you're going to choose, in the case of English, whether you're in the United States or Britain or wherever. And then you're going to click on Continue. So keyboard is going to automatically set based on your language. You can click on that and change it. Time and date is going to try and automatically populate as well. So as you can see, it says, please complete the items marked with this icon before continuing to the next step. So we're going to click on the system. We're going to click on the hard drive that we want. Automatic. So you can leave this as automatic. Okay, so they were saying that if you wanted to add disks, you could do it. So, okay. So, click on the automatic. It's already set up. If I uncheck, so I've got my check mark there. So I can let them decide. I can customize it myself, or I can do an advanced customization. You can encrypt your data, which I don't recommend doing. So then you click Done up here. So now it says, okay, automatic partitioning is selected, and then you do your begin installation. So if you're doing this on a physical hard drive, if you're doing it on a computer that has Windows or another operating system installed, you're going to want to do a dual boot instead of the automatic, and they will give you that option as well. So this takes a while, so we're going to pause and come back. Okay, so Fedora is installed and it's ready to use. So we'll click Finish Installation. Alright, so I successfully rebooted it. Took a couple tries, but I got it rebooted with the disk out, and now it's loading Fedora. I'm not sure what the username will be, because typically it makes you create one. They may have you do that in this part here. Okay. And here we go. So you're going to start setup. Now in your book, they give you a username and a password. I'm not using that. So I'm going to leave all this stuff turned on. You can turn them off if you want. So enabling third-party repositories, if you want a pure GNU Linux system, you're not going to do this. I'm going to do it just because it allows me to use some closed source items like sound codecs and things like that. Okay, so I'm going to create like I said, your book will have a username. So all right. So now I'm logged in as myself. So most of the things that you can do with Fedora will be, you'll be able to do from the command line or a GUI. So I'm going to skip the tour. So okay, let's see. So if you click on that, it brings up the applications. So then you'd click Show Apps, and it brings up all of your applications like contacts, camera. So I'm going to go into Terminal. Terminal is the application that you will use the most in these labs because you'll be doing a lot of command line things. So once you have installed Fedora, the first thing you're going to want to do is type sudo dnf update. Oops, I don't want to type capital in there. So sudo think user account control in Windows. Even if you're an administrator, you don't do things as an administrator. You do them as a limited user, and you have to elevate yourself. Sudo is the way of doing that. First time you do it, it tells you, hey, you're doing stuff as the elevated user. So, we're going to give you this warning. So it's doing the updates. So if you look at it, it's telling you there's a lot of updates. And it's saying, do you want to do this? Yes. So I'm going to pause this because it's going to be 6 minutes. Okay, quickly, while this is still running, I wanted to show you this. The way that DNF or Yum does things is it downloads everything and then it does called a transaction check and a transaction test. And it does that to find out if it's going to break something or if the update is going to fail in some fashion. If it succeeds in doing it, then it actually runs the transaction and does the actual update or upgrade or installation. So that's where we're at right now. So they are doing that. We are installing different things. So, all right, as you can see, it is complete. It upgraded all these and installed a few things, created a couple users. I'm going to scroll this up a little and show you some things out of it. So it did some cleanup, and then I ran into a couple of errors, version mismatches, but it didn't seem to affect it at all. I created a user for a GNOME remote desktop and a group. And then it was completed. So the second part here is because I forgot that update does everything that update and upgrade would do in apt in Debian. So I'm used to a Debian based where you actually have to run two separate commands to do it. So because I upgraded the kernel, I'm going to do sudo reboot. And it's going to reboot the computer or the virtual machine. That way I know I'm on the most recent version of the kernel. So, plus you get to see what happens when you boot up after you've created your user. Alright, so as you can see, it's showing my username, or I can click not listed if it wasn't. When I click my username, it prompts me for a password. And it will boot to the desktop now. In the next video, I will show you the installation, or in this case, the upgrade of Ubuntu. One thing I wanted to point out is I typed sudo reboot, but I could have came up here. It's kind of hiding behind that little information thing. I could have clicked on the power button and I could have restarted it right there. So I'm going to power this off.